We've been having a lot of teachings and also experiences, actually, of death and impermanence lately, and I've been thinking a lot about it. And I was thinking about, in this country especially, how death is hidden away. And really our model, I think, of death comes from the media. And so the news, TV, and movies. And so if you look at that model, death is portrayed as something that is often traumatic, and those that are touched by the death, it's something that is kind of over the top, full of attachment, and just a ton of personal distress. And it's good to look at this because that is not helpful. It's so counter to the reality of what actually is. Everything that comes together is going to part everything. And in the Buddhist worldview, if we align ourselves with this reality, then as we experience these coming aparts, we are able to open our heart and be of benefit, strengthening our love and compassion in the process. And then I was thinking too, the other model that's in this country is those violent video games, which is even worse than TV and movies, because people are acclimating themselves to destroying. Most of those violent video games are about killing. And so it's kind of an adrenaline, I would think, I've not ever done that, but I think it would be kind of like an adrenaline experience and full of a mind of trying to win or competition. So that is so totally counter to the experience of being in the presence of any living being dying. So I think it's helpful to protect our minds from these really skewed ways of engaging with death and impermanence, and to align ourselves with the reality of what is. And one of the practices that I do is anytime I see anything that is in the process of dying, so in this environment it's often insects and small animals, I really try to witness and stay with that and observe and be very close to it, open my heart, say mantra, and really be with what is dying, and to guard my mind from going into personal distress, to feeling overwhelmed with emotion. And that takes practice. That's not an easy thing to do often. But there's many examples, or like when we're driving in the car and there's been animals that are hit by the side of the road, I take very close notice. I again try to say mantra and keep my mind steady and even, and remind myself this is the reality of our existence here. There is nothing that is living that is not going to be touched by death, nothing. And any resistance that my mind has, I remind myself that, like anything in life, the more that I kind of acclimate myself to it, practice being with it, then the easier it becomes. And the easier it is for me to then open my heart and try to be of benefit, try to help, instead of being totally overwhelmed and in such personal distress that that whole experience is just about me, which doesn't help myself or others, of course. So I think to reflect on the impermanence of everything, and we can do it with, material inanimate objects also. And so whatever level of comfort one has, you start with that and then continue to practice and work with one's mind so that we can really align ourselves with the reality of what is, so that when we are in the presence of someone dying, we can be helpful to them. We can be of benefit. And then, of course, the final thing that this kind of practice gives us is, at our own death, we will be able to keep our own mind steady, not falling into attachment and, kind of personal distress, to the max. Instead, reminding ourselves and recognizing that this is the process every living thing is going to go through. And so if I keep my mind steady, then I will be able to direct my mind into virtuous thoughts, which then is going to affect the experience I have as I go through death. So may we work on our minds so that we can really continue to align ourselves with the reality of what we're experiencing here every moment, actually. Thank you.